Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. The next video on the trailer build series here, or rebuild series, whatever you want to call it. I have about got all the welding done on this thing, I do believe. And I went back and I added some pipe spools here, chain spools, whatever you want to call them. Because I had some pipe over there, 1.5 inch pipe, and the floor I wasn't going to use it for anything for, so it's galvanized, a little tough to weld, but doesn't matter to work. Anyway, they give plenty of stuff to tie to there, all up and down the trailer. I added these 1-inch D-rings in the corner here. Those come off the dozer. I'm not going to be using those on the dozer, so I welded those in the corner right there to give something to tie to in the corners a little better on the front. And as I say, I about got everything wrapped up on the welding part. I've got all the holes drilled except for the ones to mount the boards on, and I should have did that whenever I had the trailer turned the correct way, right side up. But since I've got the trailer upside down and the tires and wheels and everything off of it, I'm getting ready to get this thing outside, and that way I can wash all this mildew and stuff off of it, and prep the bottom of it with Osfo, which kills the rust basically. And then I can get ready to paint the bottom of it, go ahead and paint the bottom of it while I got it upside down, and then we'll probably go ahead and run my wiring and stuff from the bottom that has to be done, and then put my tires and wheels on. That way everything be ready when I flip it back over the other way. In order to paint the top side and all that, I won't have to turn it over again. So let me get the tractor and everything hooked up. We'll get this thing outside here and see if we can get started washing on it. Alright guys, so I've got the trailer back in the shop here from doing a little paint work outside. I'm not done painting it. I had some runs in this inner fender here that I decided to sand back out. Wouldn't have been that big a deal, but I'm not done painting. I still got to take it over, or turn it over, paint the other side and all that. So I figured, I'd just run a sander across that and respray it, just so it'd look a little better. I'm sure it won't matter once it gets covered with dirt anyways. But I want to go ahead and run some wires in it before I turn the trailer back over and finish painting it and all that stuff, and put all the tires and wheels on. So what I got here is I got this 25-foot trailer power cord, 7-way cord with a built-in molded end on it, and that's going to run from the tongue, the length of the trailer, all the way down to the back down there. And then I have this 4-wire right here that I'm going to run, which I really only need 2 of these wires, but this is a jacketed wire with a lot of insulation on it. I want to use that so that running it through the pipes, it wouldn't get chafed and whatnot. But this is what I'm going to run to my marker lights and across the trailer to my tail lights and all that stuff. It'll tie into this main harness here. I'm going to solder the connections on it and all that stuff. So just going to go ahead and get all the wires run. I got it in here, and then move it back outside, repaint the inner fenders there. I got to paint the wheels, put them on there, flip it back over, and paint the other side. The cat likes walking on it, as you see here. There's cat tracks all over everything. So, I guess it's a trailer, but you got cat tracks all in it. So anyway, let me get started running this wire over here. Alright guys, so I'll show you what I got done here. This is the 7-way plug here. I got 4 foot of harness coming out here, so it should be plenty long enough. Anyway, it's going through this tube here. That tube's a little big, but that was the old top rail that was on this trailer, just repurposing it, reusing it to keep from having to buy more. Anyway, I run out of wire, so that's all I can do for now on the wiring part. But what I'm doing is I'm tapping into this right here with a ground, and the green wire be running light wire. The wire goes across here to the other marker light and to this marker light here. The brake box will tie into the blue wire to provide the electric brakes with power from the battery backup in case the trailer disconnects. It comes back down here, right here, tap the main harness again. I did not use these wires here because, as I say, this is a 4-wire cord. I only need 2 of them for marker lights. And I tapped the ground again. The green wire goes over here. That provides power to that fender marker light and this fender marker light. It goes on to here. I tap the blue wire and the white wire for ground for the electric brake axle. I'm coming back and taping this up. I'm just left it undone so that you can see how I did it there. But I'm soldering everything, heat shrinking what I can, and some of them just having to tape. This right here, where I had the notch for this axle, I just put a zip tie on that to keep that wire from getting damaged for now. We'll wind up putting some more axles under this thing and getting rid of these mobile home axles. Probably be going with a little taller spring hanger kit to get this thing up another inch or so out of that, and that'll help that out. But it's not going to hit right there whenever the axle comes down. It's room there below it. It's not a lot of room, but it's room, so that'll work. Anyway, the wires comes back down here, and we tapped the trailer frame here with the main harness ground, and then we tied in our ground to our tail lights for our 4th wire here. Wired that all up, heat shrink. Don't need a brake wire back here. That's auxiliary power. You could put something else back here, I think. And then this is battery charge wire, I believe. So anyway, we don't need them. At least I don't think we do. So I've got them secured over there out of the way. I'll come back and tape this up again. Anyway, we got this wire here. It's going to go across here. I have to get some more wire, but I'll tap here. Got to power my light bar. Comes all the way over here. Goes through here down into my light box there. And same thing on this other side over here. I really thought that I had enough wire ordered, but I guess I didn't. I ordered 25 foot of this 16.4 trailer cable here. And then the main harness is 25 foot, which the 25 foot on the main harness come out exactly right there. I didn't have any extra. I tried to find a longer one just to be sure, but I couldn't find one, so I figured I had to make do with this. This pipe here did originally come out here the way I had it, but I had to whack it off and do it this way because the wire was just a little bit short. But anyway, I made that work, so no issues there. I'm just going to have to order some more wire. That way I will have some wire for the light bar here and that one piece that goes across the front up there, and then we'll have all the wiring done as far as what needs to be run under there, and it'll be just all stripping these and wiring them into actual lights after we get done painting and everything and getting the trailer flipped right side up. For now, I don't think anybody around has any of this wire in stock like I need. I hate to use regular wire because this jacketed stuff here is a lot better, a lot more protection there. So I'm probably just going to order some, and I'm not sure how long it'll take to come in. This here took a couple weeks to come in. Alright guys, so I have got the thing painted. I've got it turned back over. I've got the tires and wheels back on it. I kind of quit filming and just started working. I think the paint job will get better when it gets scratched up. It's got some, this is a gloss paint, and of course when you gloss paint over old rusty pipe, you have some satin spots in the middle of the gloss paint. So anyway, it is what it is. I got all the lights in there, got them all wired up, got them working, and you can't see all of them at the moment because I got this thing backed up in here against the dozer blade. But that's the way the tail lights come out. These here are some little license plate lights. I just got them twisted together because you have to remove them to put your license plate on here. I don't have a license plate at the moment because the one that was on here is pretty much destroyed. Supposed to be getting a new one, but the DMV does not have any in stock right now due to well, everything else in the world's going on, and you can't get anything. So that's the way that is. But that light should be pretty well protected the way that is, recessed in there like that, and very solid. I got my 3 little bar LED bar in the middle, and everything's coming together. We're almost ready to put some boards on it. I have not went and got the boards yet. I've got to get my shop cleaned up. I've got the screws here to screw the boards down with, and I'm in the middle of mounting the brake box right now. I've got my holes drilled here. I'm just going to mount it here because that's the only flat surface that I could find that matched the bolt pattern. It just kind of worked out to where it looked like that would sit right there, and hopefully that'll be a good spot for it. I've got the hole drilled here for my breakaway switch. That's where it's going to go. And I've got my wire here that I secured tied up by the way that ties into the main harness that is going to be tied in the breakaway box here and to the switch. And so that's what I'm in the process of doing right now. I'm sure somebody will ask about the winch and why I didn't put a battery box on it. And the reason is this trailer doesn't get used very much, and we had a battery box mounted on this trailer years ago. And it's one of those things, you put a battery on it, and then when you go to use the trailer or whatever, it's dead, the battery doesn't work. And so it doesn't make sense to tie up $100, $150 in a battery, just let it sit out there till the trailer gets used, and then it's dead anyways. So usually what we do is, you put a battery in the bed of the truck or something. If you got one that you keep in your garage or whatever in the shop, and keep it on a charger, charge it up from time to time. And then if you decided to get ready to use a winch or something on a trailer, slide your winch in the receiver tube, and then throw your battery to the back of the truck, carry it with you. When you get where you're going, you can set it out, set it on the deck of the trailer there, hook your cables up to it, good to go that way. And so really no need to put a battery box on this trailer as a utility trailer. If it was a dedicated trailer, that's what you did with this all the time, then that would make more sense. I'm just going to use the screws that are ordered to screw the boards down to mount this box. When you order one of these battery kits here, they come with some screws. They're usually for mounting to wood, and so this is not wood, so you need a different screw. So we're just going to use these here that I ordered to screw the boards down with. A little long, but they're going to work. Get all of them started here. And we'll snug them up. Get over there. A little bit off on my hole there. There we go. Alrighty, that ought to be good until I smack it with something to knock it off of there, which is probably a good possibility. Alright guys, I got that all wired up. I got my breakaway switch on here, tested it works. Probably could have did a little bit of something better on the wires if I'd have thought about it ahead of time. So I just zip tied the wires there along the underside of the frame, and this piece of wire here I just zip tied to my piece of pipe that I got that the marker light wire is running into. Got it soldered heat shrunk. It's charged up. It works when you pull the switch to activate the brakes. I drilled my holes, went ahead and drilled my holes here. There's going to be a board that goes across right here after I get the flooring in. And so I drill those holes to bolt that board in. That way if you're hauling, some boards or a couple pieces of pipe or steel or whatever, and you had to slam on the brakes or something other that, that'll stop it from coming through. Or if you're hauling some scrap iron or whatever, something loose, that stuff doesn't vibrate forward and shake out. So anyway, I did that. I should have waited to mount this and just mounted it to the board. That would get it down a little bit and offer a little bit protection, a little more protection maybe, by being a little lower. But we'll just have to be careful, I guess. And if I break it off of there, I will put me a plate up here to cover it up. If say we're putting something on the trailer and something falls and hits this and breaks it off, then I'll do something different with it. But for right now, that's how it's going to be. I went ahead and drilled right here for my sideboards. Just drilled the front, and then I drilled right here in front of the fender, and then all the way back here on this middle brace behind the fender right there. I'll have to do something here on the end up under the tail light, but I'm not sure exactly how the board is gonna do, so I'm gonna wait to get the boards and figure out where I want it. What I think I want to do is, if it'll work, and it may not work, is have it where you can drop a board on here and then close your ramp up, and the ramp will kind of hold the board in there. But I'm not sure if that's going to work out or not. It may not work the way I'm thinking it's going to work. So I'm going to wait on that, and then I'll probably just wind up drilling a hole here in the center to put a, just to keep this board, because it'll be secured here with 2 bolts. So I can just put one in the center here and secure it well enough. And as I say, then I'll just have to figure out to put a board across the rear if you're hauling something loose like that. So anyway, that's kind of what I got going on there. I ought to make a pretty good all-around, trailer for a little bit of everything. At least that's what we're going for here. I've got to pick up all this junk in my shop at some point or another. I've got stuff scattered everywhere. But I guess I'm going to go to the store and pick up some boards. And I'll get them put on here in the next day or two when I get some more time. And we'll go from there. One more thing I want to show here was, remember when I forgot to coat this pipe in, and I put the square tubing in, and I put 3/8 flat bar in here, wetted up? You can't hardly tell it. You would have to be really looking pretty good to be able to tell. That come out pretty nice for an afterthought. I should have, coped the square tubing in there if I'd have been thinking. But as I say, when I started this project, really wasn't planning on replacing the fenders. But after we got into it this deep, decided might as well go ahead and get some good fenders made for it. And I think them hold up pretty well, 1/4 inch plate fenders. I don't think I've ever seen a trailer with 1/4 inch plate fenders, but ought to be pretty solid there. Looks a little bit goofy with those small tires on there, but I got a plan to fix that and put some better axles up under that and get rid of these axles here. The deal with these axles here, they made a couple of different types of these mobile home style axles. They made some with the same spindle that a normal axle will use, and that you could swap the hubs out on. And then they made some with the smaller diameter inner bearing. These have the smaller inner diameter bearing, it's the 1 3/8 bearing, and so there's not a hub available that will swap these. So you either have to change the spindles out on the axle, or you have to swap the whole axle. So we'll get that done one of these days. But right now, just trying to get the trailer, everything else ready, get the trailer back usable, and then we'll be able to drop these out, in a short period of time or whatever, whenever that time comes. All right, guys, we got a brand new roll of 3M DOT tape, conspicuity tape, whatever you want to call it here. And we're going to start out with the white first. I'm not sure that it matters, but some people say it does, some people say it doesn't. What the best way to go about doing this stuff is, but get me some strung out here. I'm gonna hold her up there and get her about where I think it ought to go. Could have been a little straighter to start with there. Alright guys, that's what it's looking like. We are pretty well 100% ready for boards now. And I think I'll wait till I get the boards on there. I've already fitted the ramps up, made sure they fit. I just have to paint them. I started painting one, I ran out of paint. So I just got to finish painting those and stick them back on there and everything. So I think we'll put the boards on there before we worried about putting the ramps and all on there. So that's the next step, getting the boards. One more thing before we get to the boards, safety chain. I wasn't sure how long safety chains are needed because the tongue on this trailer is a little bit unique, how long it is here. So I just ordered a length of chain and I am going to loop it around like that right there. The way that the old ones were done, with the exception of this is bigger, better chain, and it's actually going to have some good slip hooks on it this time. And I will put a bolt through the chain up under here to secure the chain together. And I will have to back my truck around and figure out what the ideal length of chain is. But I'm going to say somewhere in that area right there. I'm going to have a small piece of chain left over. But I will cut that and then I will put my slip hooks on there. And as I say, I'll get a bolt over there. We'll put a bolt in that, snug it down, and that will be the safety chains. Alright guys, just test fitting everything here, not going anywhere, just dropped it down on the ball, hooked up the safety chains so I can get them the right length. I'll have to pick up another hook for the breakaway switch there. It's supposed to have its own separate hook, so I'll have to pick one of those up. But my battery breakaway here is charging like it's supposed to be, and we got lights. See the little LED license plate lights. I'm not sure how well those things are going to work out, but I guess we'll see. And you see the 3 light bar there down by the dozer plate. Alright guys, so I just got back from spending a bunch of money at the lumber yard. I bought this at the highest place you can buy it, I think, in my area, because they were the only ones that had it. Imagine that. Anyway, they are 2x10 by 20s. They didn't have 18 foot, which is, the trailer's 18 foot. But these are #1 pressure treated and then kiln dried. So that's not real common. Most of the time when you buy pressure treated lumber, it's #2. It's not kiln dried afterwards, and it's soaking wet. So these already being dried should not shrink very much. As I say, there's kind of a premium on these, but it's the only place that had them, and it was either that or wait a couple of weeks the place I usually get lumber and stuff from, I called them. They were a good bit cheaper, probably 15 bucks a board cheaper, but they didn't have any, and they were number 2 grade, which would have been soaking wet. And he said maybe we'll have some in a couple of weeks, and he couldn't give me a definite answer on that or a definite price on them when the new batch came in either. So I decided to go ahead and pick these up. That way we could get the job done and get them put on the trailer. So I guess I'll get them drug out here and take a measurement. We'll have to cut a couple of foot off of them, and we'll have some really good 2-foot cutoffs to make for blocking stuff up or whatever. So I wanted to go with the 2x10s because that's what the measurements of the 2x10s come out right with the number of them on the width of the trailer. So 9 of them should come out. The trailer is 83 inches wide between the fenders, so 9 of these should come out without any having to rip the boards and stuff. I could have gone with 2x8s or 2x12s, come out a little cheaper from a different lumber yard because they had those in stock in 20-foot lengths, but I would have had to rip boards, and you know, that's never a good thing when you have to rip brand new boards in half and waste half of them, and then I don't think it would look as well either. So that's why I come up with the 2x10s. Well, I'm going to have to cut that off. Not just going to. Alright guys, I got my screws and my drill out. I'm going to try to put screws in the front, skip 2 cross members, screws, skip 2, screws, skip 2, all the way to the back. That should give me 5 screw places, screw on 5 different cross members, 2 screws per board. So it'll be 10 screws per board holding it down. At least that's the idea right now. So if we skip 2, it'll bring us to right here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put screws in them. I've got it pulled over a little bit too far back there in the back, so I'm gonna let some pressure off of that before I put the screws in it. All right, we got 4 of them on there fastened down. I'm gonna start back on this side now, start walking my way back to the other way. If I don't, I'm gonna work myself into a corner where I can't get the board in there. So I'm gonna have to put the center one in there last, and because I got these braces up here and I won't be able to get them in there if I don't do it that way. Mark notch corner on this one like I did the other side. right, we're down to the last two. Let's see how far we're going to be off on our measurement. I think we're going to have to rip a little bit on it. Alright guys, I ripped some off of this. I don't know if I ripped enough off. It's not perfectly consistent down there because I didn't measure it like I probably should have to get my gap exactly right. So the boards, boards are not perfectly straight, and I pulled them together where I didn't have no gaps. And now the center board, really it ain't the center board, it's one to the left over. I should have put that one over here, but then I'd have a little bit of trouble getting this one in the center. So that's what I'm doing there, and hopefully this thing will work. Let's see. I may have to do some more trimming, I don't know. Alright, I got it setting up there if I can get it to pop down on the crack now. Maybe still a touch big. It fits here. Board shrinker. I guess I'll have to get the skill saw there and run down the crack somehow. Trim just a touch more off. Well, there ain't gonna be no cracks in the board, that's for sure. It'll be a good and tight fit. Except on the back there, one little spot. Alright guys, that is looking pretty good to me. The only way it could have been any better is if I would have put the board that I needed to rip right in the center, and if we didn't have this little bit of a gap down here at the end. But it's going to work just like that. And it's way better than most trailers I've seen. Hopefully I won't have any problem with this being already kiln dry and already shrunk. with it trying to expand or anything. Usually whenever you put a trailer floor in, if you're using normal pressure treated lumber that's still wet, it will shrink. So if you butt it up tightly, whenever it shrinks, you'll have a gap between every board. I've never used any of this pressure treated, already kiln dried lumber, so I don't know how this is going to work out, but hopefully it'll work out. We won't have any issues and we won't have any gaps to deal with, and it'll stay looking pretty good like it is for a long time. That's my goal, because that's $500 something worth of lumber there. So anyways, I've got one more board here that I picked up to go on the front. I didn't pick up any boards to go on the side yet because I really didn't need them at this point. I still got some stuff to do with the ramps and whatnot, and that particular lumber store that I got these from was $20 a board higher than the other store that I was going to get these from that didn't have them. So I'm going to go to the other store probably and get the 2x12s, even though they'll be number 2s and they'll be the wet kind, this green hadn't been kiln dried. That'll be fine for a sideboard. These here is a better board for the deck, and it should last longer, less knots. It's already, like I say, dried, so it shouldn't shrink as much, and should be a really solid floor and should last a long time, at least hopefully. All right, guys, I made it back from town. Got that board on there bolted down. That board is going to be permanent. I'm not going to, won't be removing that or anything. It's just going to stay there. The sideboards, I want to be removable because certain things that you need to haul, like some steel or some boards, is low profile. If you have a side, you can't tie it down. True enough, it can't really go anywhere, but it can slide back and forth. Say if you had a piece of pipe in there, you wouldn't want that rolling back and forth. So by having the sides removable, you remove the sides, it'll allow you to tie down whatever, or if you need to haul scrap iron or whatever, put the sides on there, with just a few bolts, and do it that way. So I got everything pretty well wrapped up except for picking up those boards there for the side and finishing the ramps up. I can't really put the ramps on there with the trailer inside, and so I guess I'm going to call it a night for now. But the trailer is definitely looking like a completely different trailer now. It looks really, really good for what it is, what we started out with. There's no comparison there. So it's looking a lot more like a store-bought trailer than a homemade trailer at this point, except for those axles and tires. We will address that one of these days, probably in a future video. Alright guys, well that is a wrap on the trailer build. All I like now is, as I say, going to get the sideboard for each side and putting on, and finish painting the ramps. Whenever I was painting the ramps, I run out of paint and I didn't mix up any more. So I've got to finish painting the ramps, paint that ramp, and it's like 40 degrees out here. So I'm not going to be doing that right now. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up, and that way I can get it edited and stuff. And I'm thinking about going ahead and loading some scrap on this today since it's too cold to paint. If I try to paint that with it 40 degrees out here, it's just going to be a mess. So thinking about going ahead and loading some scrap on this thing and trying it out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next video.